Good morning, good afternoon. This is Nikki, also known as Faces Trader, and you're watching me September 14, Awesome 10X Live for the Philippine market update. Let's begin with the Philippine markets. Oops, sorry. Relog in. Wait up. So you're seeing the index is now 5,997, up 29 points. You've got a slew of winners and losers, so let's discuss each one of them. Let's take a look at stats. Start with stats. You've got your biggest winner today with some volume. STI, 37 centavos, 12% up from 33 cents. You've got a few non-index movers going up. AllHC is climbing up 9% from 210 to 229. We did see that. Although ALHI and BCOR are up, 24,000 on ALHI is not important. 9.5 million pesos on BCOR though is. So we'll check out those charts later. Now, other than that, we see the Dito Telecom, 363, very good move. So from 340, it's now 363, good move, 250 million pesos. You are seeing RCI 7% with about 32 million pesos, Megawide 18 million pesos. Frutas is up big, 4%, 126 at about 35 million pesos. Even CPG is up 4% at 37.5 cents, 43 million. Now Telecom straight again, 229 to 238. And for some of your properties, Ayala Land is up 31.3. And your Mega World is 3.16. Your DMCI is 4.16. And your JG Summit is 62.9. I give the day for the bulls that we have more winners than losers. Now, what are the losers for the day? The one with volume that had a loss is actually Puregold, trading now at 48.55 at 147 million pesos. So there were some sellers on Puregold today. We are also seeing AGI get some selling, 55 million pesos, trading down 6.77 today for AGI. So other than those two names, the rest doesn't seem to be a strong selling pressure. And we are seeing that the value traded on the selling, although EI is down 4%, 680 to 650, 8 million pesos, still not big. 17 million pesos selling some SSI from 123 to 119. It's not as big as you'd think, so it's okay. The selling pressure today, although isn't really a huge selling wave. Pure Gold, though, is most actively being sold today, and that is something that we have to discuss. Now, in the most active, there's winners and there's losers. Your winners are, of course, your Ayala Land and your SM Prime and your SM. So your base names are already triggering your index to crawl up. So your Ayala Land, your Ayala Corp, although Ayala Corp is just at 700 and your SM is just there at about 880, 900, 915 today. So we are seeing that they are trying to crawl that. Now, BDO is 89.5, still the weakest amongst the still the weakest amongst the banks, but at least it's still steady at about 89.90. Your Metrobank hovering above 34.9 today. Your BPI is actually steady at about 64.6 today, so it's still above 60. And then your other properties are steady going up. So you've seen SM Prime, Ayala Land, Mega World, they've been rising. And the other properties are trying to catch up. You are seeing some Robinson's Land, 14.7, 14.86. We'll take a look at some of the properties in the charts later on. Top traded for the day with volume, you are seeing top traded is Dito Telecom, 250 million pesos. Is there something to discuss about third telco, Dito Telecom? The biggest loser today would be your Puregold with volume, 147 million pesos, 48.55. The rest are just up and down. So your ASEN continues to go up, 100 million pesos today, 325. So it's been steadily climbing. And it is still strong even until today. So those who have it at 220 to 235, congratulations. Continue to hold your winners. But if you want to take some profits off, it's really partial lang, because you never know when the top would be. Now, there will be some pressure maybe on Nicolasia as well. Although 307 to 311, we already saw Nicolasia at about 330 to 340, having some hard time there. There are some profit takers. Now, nonetheless, sige, let's go to the charts today. Your Mary Mart is 303. Okay, let's take a look at the charts. And some news, if ever. So dito, Telecom news. Today is September 14, 2020. So, China-backed third telco dito sets land acquisition guidelines for tower and cell sites use. Landowners are warned versus persons posing as dito the employees for site acquisition. Dito Telecom discounts the threat to national security. So in the last 3 days, actually last month, House approved the third telco Dito Telecom's 25-year franchise, and what used to think as a sell on good news actually became a sell on good news only for the day, and it became stronger the next days after. Let's take a look at that. Of course, that is in congruence with the Philippines' need for higher and better connectivity as a group. So we've got PLDT and we've got Globe. And this one is posing to be the third telco. So we are seeing the following. Let's take a look. On August 25, that would be this day. August 25 is this day. That used to trade here at about 350 high, and people sold it down. But that selling pressure only got until 3.2. Today is actually a breakout of that August 24 high of 350. So that is considerably strong, to be honest. Now, how high can this go given that it broke 350 with volume today? We are seeing this as your first resistance, 3.94. The risk reward ratio at this level is kind of steep. I would say it is steep. If you're buying at 350, 360 today, your reward is 10%, 390, and your risk of a cut loss is also 10% here if it drops at 320. Nonetheless, those who are able to really handle the volatility when Dito Telecom was falling down should see themselves happy with this move of Dito Telecom today. Let's see whether it breaks above the 390 the next coming days. Congrats to those who are holding in it's a bit speculative. Dito Telecom is speculative. Now, of course, today we are seeing Puregold falling down big with volume, 190, 150 million pesos selling it down. So you are seeing that Puregold truly has a resistance here today at about 54 and quite a strong support here at about 44. So you are seeing quite a big range. Today at 48, it's just somewhere in the middle of the pack. It can go further to 46 or it can even go to 44. However, if it goes lower, we are on the opinion that it should be bought, and any drops now at 46 to 44 should be seen as a buying opportunity for Puregold. Now, we saw today that some properties have risen. Your Ayala land mustered a breakout above 30. It's now trading at 31. We did notice that Ayala land here at $30 was 30 pesos, used to be a resistance support that turns into a resistance. It's good to see that resistance now becoming a support. And it looks that it looks that Ayala land might hover back to about 33 to 34 with this good move today. So we have seen the buying pressure here about 28. So that first day was the first day mover. And then today is another buying signal at about 30 pesos, seeing that 30 pesos is now being seen as a support. So how high can Ayala land go? Possible 34, even 36. Now, if Ayala land is moving up, that also gives us a welcome possibility that SM Prime here at about 28 pesos, 28.85 is also at support with a potential move to about 32 should it follow the Ayala land move. Now, with Ayala land hitting that 31 mark, we might say that Ayala Corp today can be bought at 700 pesos, even if it has a risk of going to 650 pesos. So we are going to buy this name, 700 and 650. It looks to be a good support here, and another support again if it falls 630 to 650. So it's a tranche move on the way down. Now, as the market has been reopening, let's take a look at why some names have gone up. AllHC continued higher. We noticed in the last few days that the volume was picking up, and true enough, today it continued higher. This AllHC is becoming a strong mover. As you could see, that was a breakout here at about $2. It closed at 210 last week, and it spared no chance of going down. After going 210, it rallied again to 229. This is a move from 170 to 229. We are seeing a 30% mover in the last week alone. So this one is merit to be watching, no? So whether it grows down to about 2 or 220, we'll see how this moves. So far, AllHC is the Ayala Land Logistics Holdings arm. And with Ayala's ACEN giving a strong outperformance, we might see AllHC being treated by the market as an outperformer as well. So let's take a look at whether there's news on AllHC. That is something that is good moving today. Actually, good move for the week. So let's take a look at whether this one can move as high as $3. So I remember that AllHC is the property of Tutuban. So that has been acquired by Ayala Land Logistics. Let's take a look at whether there are names happening in Ayala Land Logistics in terms of news. So Ayala Land Logistics, Ayala Land Logistics news. So this was acquired, of course, by Ayala Land. The quarter's profit was at least up. You could see that the president is Rowena Tomeldan, is a leading industrial estate developer. Why don't we watch and read the Ayala Land Logistics posting a gain of 155 million profits in the first half and how it is trying to handle this COVID pandemic. Let's read it together. And while it's loading, okay, I will show to you the chart of AllHC. Let's take a look at AllHC's chart while it's loading. So while it's loading, we could see that there is a clear breakout here at about 2 peso. And then this is a continuation move today at about 229. Although that 15% run-up is seen by others as a strong mover, take note that there is a resistance at 233. It could consolidate or it could break out. It could continue going to 2.7. This is something to watch out for. It could even go to $3 if there is a potential news that triggers Ayala Land Logistics to be a true reversal move and one of the few pandemic resilient companies in the Philippines. So let's take a look at the news. Okay. So it was posted on August 18 that Ayala Land Logistics posted an income of about 155 million pesos. And in its disclosure, they were saying that the decline was largely due to the company's slowdown in retail leasing. And for the first 6 months, revenue still registered at about 1.6 billion pesos, 28% lower compared to last year. They managed to still hit a positive bottom line, adding that they are adapting to challenges brought about by the global pandemic. Revenues comes from industrial lot sales. These industrial lots are 33% lower this year. Commercial revenues also declined 31%. Meanwhile, this is the positive thing, warehouse leasing revenues have grown 38% from 40 million pesos to about 193 million pesos. Now, industrial park locators and lessees of logistics facilities are operating with skeleton workforce today. And Tutuban Center is open to the public with mall merchants operating at limited capacity. Buying interest for the industrial lot offerings are seeing a strong demand due to the warehouse facilities staying relevant, rising above the ongoing crisis. So Ayala Land Logistics expects its ongoing expansion project to add 30,000 square meters of gross leasable area to its warehouse portfolio by the end of 2020. For those who aren't aware that Ayala Land has bought this company, this used to be the Tutuban. The company was actually an acquisition, and this used to be Poppy. If you remember, POPI, Poppy. So Poppy is now Ayala Land Logistics, and you could see that the website is ayalalandlogistics.com. You could read more about this in their own website. But is it a sustainable move? Looks like we could actually check it out. They have technoparks, AllHC's industrial parks, warehouses, retail spaces. Then they have industrial. So they are aiming to provide their stakeholders with accurate reports and what's happening to the company. Given that it is an Ayala Land business model, it looks like the management is something that you might want to check out if you are looking for properties that are resilient. So AllHC registers positive bottom line despite the 2Q slowdown. Mixed businesses, the news, of course, is all there. So I give AllHC take it a look because the charts are good and also the fundamentals looks okay. So this one is something that is to watch. AllHC. You might want to trail stop if you already got this. Trail stop means that you hold your winners, see whether this goes to 270 or even 307. So other than AllHC, we have discussed Dito Telecom. Let me take a look at your own feedback. Let me see the StreamYard if there are comments and news that I didn't discuss. So let me just see. Pizza Maxes and Mrs. G, possible kaya na madaplisan ng rotation if gumanda ang reopening news moving forward. So let's take a look at the Shakey's, Maxes, and Mrs. G. So actually, Shakey's Pizza has been recovering quite faster than the other restaurants. Let's take a look at each one of them. Okay, so in your restaurant space, you've got the Jollibee. Jollibee is still steady at 135. You've got Maxis and Pizza. Maxis here at 490 seems to have been bottoming out from about 430. So it could rally to about 6 or 7. We just don't know when, but this looks to be a double bottom here. And Pizza also had made a sizable bottom, and this one was the bottom at the 5, 450 and 5. It went as low as 460, and then recently a higher low at 529, and then now it's 605. It could rally as well to about 7, even as high as 8 and 9 once the reopening theme is being rotated on. So in terms of rotation, let's take a look at some airlines as well. Cebu Pacific, 36 here, quadruple bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it hasn't rallied to about 40 pesos, but we are seeing some temporary slowing down of selling pressure. Now, as for Mrs. G, it is a supermarket at the end of the day. The market is quite not happy with their earnings front, but we'll see whether Mrs. G at about 135 to 140, it has low here at about 129. And this one was their March lows of 117. We are seeing a lot of selling pressure here at about 160. And so any drops would be contained at 130 so far, but still the rallies are still heavy at 160. We need the slew of good news for Mrs. G to make a convincing comeback. As for the other companies, let's take a look at some companies. If you're, let me just take a look. Of course, okay. People are asking, yeah, today the biggest selling pressure is of course Puregold. And yeah, so Puregold, it might fall further at about 46, but I think that there will be a lot of buyers at 46 below should Puregold fall. Now, the rest, SSI and PNB, let's discuss it. So SSI, strong volume and then selling pressure today. You are seeing that SSI here at about 127 is sold down today with a low of 117. So let's take a look at whether this would retrace all the way to about 1 peso, or is it gonna retrace just halfway? So typically a good retracement is something that will be strong here at 114. So should SSI fall, take a look at whether it gets supported here at about 114, or will it be a collapse all the way back to 107, nullifying that strong move. Now for your PNB, it's gonna be the same. Take a look at whether it handles 50% retracement. So you are seeing that the company wants to sell some prime properties, and it has rallied quite strongly in the last few days from 1979 to 2522. Now you want to see whether PNB will stay and hold above 22.5. If it stays above 22.5, that means that this retracement is just a healthy profit taking. But if it breaks 22.50, that means that this was a sucker rally. So you wanna know and see how the market will see the PNB news in the next couple of days. It might take time. Can it be a flag, or will it be just a 2-day, 3-day run up, and then not follow through? So that is something that you might need to check out as well with Ayala Land Logistics, given that it has rallied 35% so far. So green, Miss Nikki, let's discuss Greenergy. Okay, Greenergy has been rallying a bit in the last, actually it's not a bit, no, it has been rallying more than 50% in just a month. From 170, it rallied to 225, 150 and a few months ago. So this one continues to be on an uptrend. I don't know how high it can go, but it looks like there will be a few resistances here at about 240 and 260. And then there will be some, I think the support became 180. There was a change of hands here at 180. So when there was a breakout here at 180, the people who bought green are already in the money and are still holding on. Let me take a look at what happened to IDC. It was a good mover last week. So IDC, good volume last week, didn't follow through, but today it's just a flag. Let's see whether it makes a move in the next few days. What else happened? I remember Sun was asked last week, SunTrust, the Bayshore. So the move was also not follow through, no? So the move didn't follow through. It went as high as 135, but fell back again to about 121. So far, SunTrust truly is just consolidating here, unlike Ayala Land Logistics, which is rallying. So let me take a look at some questions. How to spot stock accumulation of big players? What happened to AGI? AGI looks to be supported. So how do you detect accumulation? Accumulation is found by just really seeing that it is being supported. So in the last few days, if it's been supported, you could see that it is being accumulated, not sold. So example, AGI here, you see that this one 570 and then 570, another 570. You wanted to see during the 550, 570 if people were willing to support. And it takes days. It doesn't take a day. It takes a lot, like a week or a month. So in this case, it was also showing volume and supported at 550 to 570. And so we saw that AGI was being supported here, accumulated. But as you know, there's a lot of resistances. Here, you can see a very clear selling pressure at about 744. So some people seeing that 744 could be a potential selling pressure. Some of them early on at 7 pesos took profit. But I'd say that any dips back to about 6 pesos will be bought. So AGI today looks to be just a consolidation. Right now, profit taking here at about 675, 678. But as long as it's above 650, it doesn't mean that it will go down to 6. It could still go to 744. There's still a consolidation happening, profit taking happening. We can also see the same thing happening with Nicolasia. There are times when a company doesn't need to accumulate because they are buying on every pullback. And that's what we're seeing in Nicolasia. After a run-up, it had a consolidation, and that was a perfect profit-taking zone to enter 180. So you can recall that we said that for Nicolasia, we weren't the smartest person in the room to have bought it at about 160 below. But take note that just like what happened in AllHC, after a 30, 40, 50% run up, this one consolidated back to that 50% zone. That would be your profit taking zone. So you might need to see what's going to happen with SSI, PNB, and AllHC given the good moves. Now, Frutas is picking up vital property assets. Why don't we read this today? Frutas also made a good chart today, no? Frutas is trading at 126, and it looks like the market is willing to buy it up. That's why there's volume on the day for Frutas. You could see that Frutas here. Let's check it out. There was some volume. It's still not the best chart, I would say, in the Philippine market, and it's not the cheapest. You could understand that there are companies in the restaurant space that are also cheap. So even in the consumer side, this isn't the cheapest company, but it's good to see that at 114, 115, that it has been bought up. And then, however, you might see some resistances here at about 140, 150. So today's move isn't the end or the beginning. We just need to see how it moves. And let's read the news on Frutas. Frutas is picking up vital property assets. The company is reallocating some of its proceeds to invest in real estate which are vital to its operations. So they're using the IPO funds to allocate 145 million pesos, measuring a 900 square meter with 5-story building of more than 2,000 square meters located in Santa Mesa, Manila. That would be the office, their new headquarters. An additional 20 million pesos has been allocated towards commissary expansion for the Buco Water Commissary. So I think that is a good thing that Frutas is doing. They're assuring themselves that should the COVID pandemic be a long-term thing, or not really long-term, but influencing you not to go out for the next few years, you might need to secure the e-commerce relationship and direct to consumer. And doing this commissary expansion is actually a good thing. In fact, them concentrating on e-commerce is actually a better thing. So given the current low yield environment, they are excited, no, not excited, but they are investing their excess liquidity in assets that could appreciate in the long run, which will also result in savings on their lease expenses for the Buko Water Commissary. So they have ₱1 billion from the stock market debut last year. Indeed, certain back office operations will be consolidated in the new headquarters. Rental income will also be generated from tenants of potential excess space. So I think that is a good move indeed from Frutas to expand the Buko Water Commissary. And that is good long run. So I think the market is happy with that news. And that's why there was a run up today. And that might see Frutas being approved by the shareholders. That's a good strategy. Okay, so let me read a few questions. Ma'am, nabasa niyo po ba pwedeng STI? Wait lang I'll see. So accumulation of big players is seen on months. So technically there is you have to check the months whether it's being accumulated. And accumulation is really just being supported month on month or daily or weekly. How is Apex? Apex looks to be still profit taking, so the momentum has died for the gold remaining names. I'd say that it might consolidate on the next few months. So it's a bit in the waiting game for Apex Mining. Ma'am, can you read STI? Okay, let me read STI first. STI. So STI indeed today had a really strong breakout move. I'd say that this is what people are thinking once the students are back to school. But so this is a perfect reopening play. The schools, right? So your education systems all had to halt during the pandemic. And for now, we are seeing the 33, 37 strong volume, but we are seeing resistances at about 44 cents. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but this is what a consolidation looks like. This is what an accumulation looks like. An accumulation is when you see a month of rectangular pattern. It doesn't move up, it doesn't move down. So those are what you see in accumulation patterns. And this is a breakout you see today for STI. From a breakout standpoint, this one is one of the highest probability of a move higher, but it could also consolidate back to 33, and it could also be a failure breakout. For now, I'll side with the bulls that those who bought STI today have a good potential 5 to 10% move at about the profit might be bigger than today's move. So I think that is still a good chart, and it is a reopening theme. I put it in the reopening candidates. What do you think about cannabis investment of green? Weed-related names abroad aren't quite the strongest. So I'd say that although there is a strong legalization of cannabis worldwide, I'm not sure if the industry in the Philippines is let me read that news first. Wait up, let me read before I comment. Cannabis investment of green energy. So did they invest in Canada or just in the Philippines? So they have acquired an Australian firm, forays in medicinal cannabis. The largest medical cannabis would be in Canada. And if I check the charts of Canada, it's still at the 52-week lows. In fact, it's in the 10-year lows or about. So sector-wise, I think secular trend is good. I've been discussing actually some cannabis names abroad. Charlotte's Web, Trulieve. Trulieve is popular in Illinois, and it has in US. So they sell in US. So I think like the industry in itself is a good. It's good for the people, for those who have suffering, some stress relief as well for athletes. So cannabidiol, and cannabidiol is actually very powerful, CBD as a movement. So I am okay with the CBD movement globally, but from a short-term perspective, I don't think that they are positive cash flows at the moment. But in a secular trend, it's good to see that some of the Philippine companies are thinking on a secular movement. Medical marijuana is something that is actually very cheap abroad. So it's a global thing. I don't think that it is still legal in the Philippines. That's why the Greenergy had to invest abroad rather than in the Philippines. Now, do you recommend a margin account in the Philippines? No. My answer is no. Margin is good in the US because the interest rate abroad is 1.55%. Compared that to the Philippines, where they charge 1.5% a month, and the opportunities in the Philippines are less than 100%. So from a margin perspective, I'd only do it globally. Globally, the margin is 1.5% a year, not a month. It is a year. Now, how about East West? I think East West is still trading at 8 pesos, so not a lot of movement. So it's just there. Hello, Miss Nikki. Pwede pong SSI give us a recommendation? SSI, I think, is moving up from 1 peso to 128. You want to see SSI trade above 114? Watch whether it trades above 114 and 111. So I think like SSI has been in the foray, similar to Frutas, less in that retail space. Actually, they're both closing down a lot of stores, and they're both focusing on e-commerce or direct to consumer deliveries. So I think that what you want to see with both companies, SSI and Frutas, is to deliver more of their goods, whether it be buko juice for Frutas. Frutas, of course, owns Sabrosos Lechon, Jamaican patties. So I want them to concentrate on food delivery, and the same thing for SSI to concentrate on food delivery and clothing delivery. What we see today is that the market is very much in the warehouse camp. So warehouse is AllHC. So I think that rounds up today, and we will discuss the global markets later on. So thank you very much for watching, and please do subscribe to the channel if this is your first time. This is a daily Philippine market update. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye. Options isn't traded in the Philippines. That's why you want to do US for that.